Okay, so we are live right now, and I am happy that we are on this live stream. I have Oluwaseun. Oluwaseun is going to be sharing us with us how to avoid, how to date right and avoid heartbreak. And I'm asking,
Yeah.
is it really feasible that you can avoid breakfast? Is it feasible really? All right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we are going
Let me
to
use this. Let me quickly use this scenario. It's safer to walk on the pedestrian lane than to walk on the fast lane. So, of course, anything can still happen. But if you are walking on the probability of out of 10 people walking on the pedestrian lane to be hit by a car is like 1/10. But if you are walking on the fast lane of cars, probability of getting hit is 9/10. So, of course, there are some basic principles that you can follow that can save you, if not 100%, at least up to 99% to avoid that break.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. It's good to have Oluwaseun on this live stream right now. We are going to be learning how to date right and avoid heartbreak. I know a lot of my
Yes.
single friends, many of them have had lots of heartbreaks. I mean, if we're going to set an award, the Guinness Book of Records award, I think some individuals need to compete for that award regarding the number of heartbreaks that they've had in their lives, even as young people. Okay, so today in this session, guys, you are all welcome. Go and tag your friends in the comment section to be part of this session, how to date right and avoid heartbreak. All right. And so I have Oluwa sharing with me. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, as the case may be, depending on where you're tuning in from. Let's know where you are tuning in from in the comment section. You can mention your name and then your city where you are tuning in from for this live stream. It will be good for us to know and we can say hello to you. Then, secondly, share the live stream. Thirdly, go and invite your friends. Invite your friends, tag them to be part of what we're sharing. Um, you may think it's village people, but there are certain things that you don't even know about yourself that is making you have the kind of heartbreak that you're experiencing. So I believe that this session could be a deliverance session for some individuals who are tuning in, and for some others to be enlightened on what to do better. So welcome and thank you, Oluwaseun, for coming to do this with me. And please, by all means, go ahead, introduce yourself, and then go ahead into the teaching for today. Welcome, man.
Thank you very much, Don. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for all you have been doing for us on this platform. I mean, it's really a great opportunity to have you, you know, consistently telling us, telling youth that they have a voice and they can always put it out. Because especially when it comes to this kind of topic, some people can feel like, oh, this is not something that you should be discussing, talk about money, talk about business and stuff like that. But I just know that no matter how much we shy away from it, this is a very crucial aspect of our individual lives, that one way or the other it would always stare at you in the face. So thank you very much, and thanks to your audience also, because I can see the positive vibes that they have been putting on when you posted about this topic initially. And I hope they have joined right now. I hope they are here to at least listen to, even if to pick, even if it's just one thing out of this session. Because one of the reasons why I'm doing this also is that even if it's just a line of my message that will be useful to somebody, then why not? Why not? I just come up and share it. Someone out there might be waiting for my story and might just want to pick out one or two things about it. So, a very brief info about myself. Um, I'm an industrial chemistry graduate from the University of Ibadan. Then I also do business by the side, and um, because you can say that career is different from passion. I don't know, but some people are lucky to have their career as their passion also. But one thing I'm very, very passionate about is this relationship talk. It's something that I didn't plan to, but one way or the other, I found myself doing it. And I hope doing. I'm very passionate about relationship issues. I call myself a passionate, experience-based relationship coach. And when I mean passionate, I mean there are times I'm sleeping and ideas just drop in my head like, oh, this topic. Some people are having this issue. You can just talk about it. Or even from my personal experience and the personal lessons that I've learned, I can just say, okay, you can educate someone about this. And so, and I also call myself experience based because I am not, of course, there are a lot of people, calling themselves relationship coaches, and I see a whole lot. And but if you look critically, we know the ones that are well knowledgeable, and we know the ones that, well, I won't say, maybe I should just say they are not uh, experienced enough, because I see a lot of maybe should I say people just quoting quotes, but I don't do quotable quotes. I am someone as young as I am. I've had a level of experience that if I am, yeah, I won't just, except if I don't want to take a lot of time. If I am discussing a particular topic, I have a personal experience, to share as regards it, and I can always, tell you a relatable story. I can always refer to myself, you know, just like they say, experience is the best teacher. So I I am very passionate about this topic, and I feel, because I've also felt similar pains, I feel other people's pain, and it just keeps me going and moving on with this topic. So what I do basically is I help people to find clarity in their relationship, and help them avoid common mistakes. So that's what I write about. That's why I talk about on my page, dating strictly for marriage. So if you are here and you are wondering, oh, why should we even be talking about this topic? Just like I said before, it is a very crucial uh, aspect of our lives. Let me give you a scenario. Probably you are in a boardroom, a board meeting. You want to make a presentation, and you are the speaker. But all of a sudden, you you're having relationship issues or crisis, and then it flashes through your eyes, and at that moment you are destabilized. You can't even make your presentation. So you see, and these things happen, um you know to people. These are real life scenarios. Or maybe you're in a bus going home, and probably you just got heartbroken, and then you pass your junction just because you were carried away with your thoughts. These are real life scenarios that happen. So no matter how much we shy away from this topic, no matter how much we form, oh, hard girl, hard man, and stuff like that, these things still hit us one way or the other. So I I don't want, I want people to stop shying away from this. Let us talk about it. It is very, very important. All right. So like I said, if you're wondering why you should listen to me, but you might not have seen my face before, but uh, just like I said before, people, and what people like Don are encouraging us to do is that a number of us have specific things in us. We have specific ideas. We have stories that we can tell that people would relate to and gain from. So you might not have seen my face before, but I might have one thing or the other that I would say that would help you in your relationship life. So you don't have anything to worry about. Even if you are seeing my face for the first time, trust me, you want to hear from me. You want to hear from me. So um before I go into the main topic, because our main topic is displayed on the screen. Before I go into it, there's a preamble that I want to talk about, and that's relationship. Understanding relationship. That is, you might be wondering, what kind of relationship are we even talking about? What is relationship? I I believe those of us here are matured enough. The kind of relationship I'm talking about here is a man woman relationship, the agreement between a man and a woman to say, hey, I want to date you, hey, I want us to be, going out, I want us to be what we call lovers, I want us to be lovers, probably from there we plan our lives together, we'll be together, and something like that. And we can term it romantic relationship, though some people are practicing maybe purity or whatever, but it's just encompass a man and a woman is um dating exclusively, coming together to say, I'm for you, you are for me. So that is the kind of relationship we are talking about. So at this point, if you want to start jotting, you can start jotting, and I would need active people also, because there are some lines, some statements that I would need some people to be helping me to write and drop in the comment section. So I need maybe 2 or 3 people that are very active at this point, that because this talk or this message is more or less like a ministry, and there can be rema dropping at different points. So if I mention some important things, please, I will need you to help me just emphasize on it and write it in the comment section for others to see. So the second aspect of understanding relationship, and I want you to take this very very to take it, is very very important, and I need someone to help me type it and drop it in the comment section. What I'm about to say now is, you need to understand that people date for various reasons. Like, this is the genesis of the whole, should I say, relationship issues or relationship talk. Like, if you know this and you can understand it, then it's the beginning of wisdom. When they say the fear of something, something is the beginning of wisdom. This particular point I just this statement I just made, people date for various reasons. I don't know if there's somebody that has helped me to type it in comment section. So please let me type it in all capital letters. People date for various reasons. Once you understand that people date for various reasons, it will help you to know the kind of people that you should date, or the kind of people that you should associate with when it comes to dating. Let me just quickly break down. Thank you very much, Colette, for helping me drop that. People date for various reasons. So, if I'll just, in no particular order, I'll just pick out some points or some reasons why people date. So the first one here is for companionship. I think this is the most common one. Companionship. Some people just want someone that they'll be chatting with, like, hi, how are you doing? Where are you? This and that. Some people just want, you know, when are you coming over? Come and spend time with me, and let's play together, let's go out together, just to have somebody to talk with. That's one major reason why some people date. Then another reason, peer pressure. Some people just feel like, oh, my friend has a boyfriend or my friend has a girlfriend, let me also look for one. Or maybe there is even the friends that will force a a a girlfriend or a boyfriend on one of their friends, that you can't be my friend and not have a babe too now. You can't be my friend and not have a guy too now. So peer pressure is another reason why people date. Then another reason, which is also common, is benefits. People dating for benefits. Some people can just say, oh, maybe this person has money. Let me date this person to get some things, probably uh, for money, or for, it could be for just sex or whatever. So people can date for some people. It could be because of connection, or maybe this is so person's daughter. Once I'm able to date this person, I'll be able to get contracts from her father or from his father. Then another reason why people date, which I believe should be the major reason, and a very good reason. Someone said urgent to get benefits. Of course, people date because of that also. So the the last reason on my list, which I feel should be the best reason, is marriage. So it's a very big reason to date. So I hope you have gotten this, and I want you to keep it, because as I go on in this topic, we'll be referring to it, and you can always connect the dots. All right. So now let's go to the topic proper, and the topic proper is how to date right. So how to date right and avoid breakfast. Someone says he wants to date Dangote's daughter, so you can guess. Abi now. It's also a reason now, but it might not be a very, very good reason. Okay, so we have how to date right and avoid heartbreak. So for me, dating right is synonymous to avoiding heartbreak, because I hear some people saying that there's no formula to these things, that nobody's above breakfast. But I agree, but trust me, just like I said initially to Don, that when you are walking, like it's safer to walk on a pedestrian lane, where they already marked, where they have marked that okay, this place is pedestrian lane, this place is fast lane, it's cars that are passing here. It's better for you to walk on a pedestrian lane, and the risk of you getting hit by a car will be reduced than for you to you know walk on a fast lane where cars, trailers and all are walking. So what we want to discuss now is not saying 100% you would not get heartbroken, but it's saying the chance will be reduced to almost zero. That is what we are talking about. So you need to have a open mind about this discussion to be able to gain one or two things. Yes. So, like I said, our topic is how to date right and avoid heartbreak. So, the first point that we'll be discussing is self discovery. So, I hope there's someone in comment section that is going to help me type this first point under how to date right and avoid heartbreak. And I hope under how to date right and avoid. I hope I'm legible enough. I hope I'm audible enough. So if you can't hear me, you can let me know in the comment section too. Okay, so as someone as someone helped me to type self discovery. Self discovery. Okay, so I'm waiting for someone to help me type that in comment section. For the topic, how to date right and avoid heartbreak. First point, self-discovery. So what we are talking about, thank you very much. Okay. I I guess there was an internet issue, but I believe I'm back. So there's really no aspect of our lives where we do not need self-discovery, be it our business life, be it academics, be it career. We need we need to undergo self-discovery. How much more your relationship life, where you be dealing with people, or you be dealing with someone else. And what do I mean by self-discovery? I mean, know yourself. It's like when they say, remember the child of who you are. Know yourself, know your background, know where you are coming from, you know the kind of life you want. Have a heart to heart discussion with yourself. Know the kind of career you want to pursue, the kind of business you want to pursue, you know, the kind of um life you want to live. And that will help you to determine the kind of people you want to associate with. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So self-discovery is as important as any other aspect of our lives. Very, very important. When you understand uh, all these things, when you understand the kind of life you want, the kind of career you want to you go into, the kind of business you want to do, it will it will lead you to the kind of relationship you should have and the kind of person you need. For instance, if you're a career driven person, you might need someone who is also career driven to support you, or even if the person is not a career person, you might need maybe someone in business but who is ready to support your career. So you see why it is very, very important. So that's why I always advise that you should have clarity of purpose even before you get into a relationship. And that's why age is also important. Some people feel like when I advise, oh, you shouldn't go into a relationship before 21 or before 23. Some people say, oh, is that not 18 years old are getting married? Well, it happens, they are getting married, but are they getting married right? Is different when you get married, or is another case when you get married. Is also another case when you marry right. So I'm not saying young people are not going into relationship or into marriage, but are they doing it the right way? So there are a lot of issues that people face later in their relationship, which usually lead to heartbreak, and this is the genesis. If you have not known the kind of life you want to live, you have not determined the kind of career you want to go into, and you go into a relationship, along the line, when you start mapping out your career path, you could have a problem with your partner. Your partner can tell you that, oh, I cannot uh date someone like that, or I cannot marry someone like that. So when you have discovered yourself before a relationship, it will be easy for you to come out clean and say, this is what I do. For instance, I'm passionate about relationship talk. I know I cannot be with somebody who will tell me, no, I don't want you going live, I don't want you posting about relationship. It cannot work for me because this is what I would want to do. So you see, because I've already had that clarity, I've already told myself this is what I want. It makes it easier. That means I'm going to look for somebody who is going to love what I do and support what I do. Thank you very much, Udoka. You need somebody who is ready to support your career. Very, very important. Or any other thing you are passionate about. So aside from career, there are so many other things that you also need to discover about yourself. Discover the kind of maybe music you like, food you like. Just go on a self-discovery journey. It is very, very important. It's going to help you map out so many things in your life, including your relationship life. It's going to, help you know the kind of people, even on friendship level, it will help you know the kind of friends that you should even associate with. So self discovery is very, very important. So that's the first point. If you have any question on self discovery, maybe how to discover yourself, you can ask in comment section, or you can send it to me inbox on my page. So now let's go to the second point. Clarity of purpose, very important. So let's go to the second point. The second point here is also very, very important because we are talking about how to date right and how to avoid heartbreak. The second point is setting standards. Please, I need somebody to help me um type it in comment section. Setting standards. Setting standards. This is also an aspect that I'm very, very passionate about. When you tell some people to set standards, they be like, oh, they can say I'm proud, they can be this. Well, it depends on the kind of standard that you are setting. You need to be intentional about the kind of standards you set. Like I said in the first point, discover yourself, know who you are, know what you want, know where you are going to in life. Then use that to set the kind of standard of the kind of person you will go into a relationship with. So don't leave most people leave their relationship to fate. Like anybody that comes, anyhow it goes. I don't know How those people sleep at night, seriously, I don't know. It's like having an exam and you're saying I don't have to read. Any mark I score, I don't know, seriously. Because you are the you are the architect of your destiny, of your life. You need to use your hand to write down, to map out what you need, what you want to do with your life. And when we're talking about standard, there are standards and there are standards. I'm not talking about the tall, dark, and handsome standard. I'm not talking about the big, bold, and beautiful standard. I'm talking about realistic standards. For someone like me, if I'm going to set standard, I won't say I want a tall person, or I want a dark person, or I want a handsome person. I'm going to go into core values. I'm sure you understand what I mean by values. So I'm talking about things like maturity level. How matured is this person that I'm going into a relationship with? What of job security? Is this person employed? Is this person, you know, uh, does this person have the right work ethics? Does this person take his work serious? Is this person the kind of attitude that the person has? Does this person respect people? Does this person respect agreement? Does this person respect the fact that we are dating and they need to be faithful to us or to me? So these are the core values that I would list out. And another important standard to set is mindset of the person you're going to a relationship with. Mindset about life, mindset about family. Is this someone that just take life for levity? And is this person what is if, like I said, people date for various reasons. So if you are going into the relationship for marriage, does this person also have that mindset? Does this person want what I want? What is this person's state of mind concerning marriage? For instance, there are people that in the next 5, 10 years, they're not thinking about marriage. But you know how soon you want marriage. So you need to also, set a standard for the kind of state of mind that wherever you're going into a relationship, you should have concerning marriage. So I can decide to say, I want somebody who is going to settle down within the next 1 to 2 years. I would add it to my standard. It doesn't make me a bad person, because someone who wants to marry in the next 5, 10 years is not a bad person. We just don't want the same thing. So everything you want in a person, as long as they are realistic things, they are valuable things, please create a list. So many of us are used to writing market lists, but we have never sat down to create a list of standards. And if you are a spiritual person, you can also add it to your list. So if you don't know how to create a standard from everything I've said now, you can go back and get a piece of paper and try to um, list out something for yourself, as long as it is what you want in the person. Yeah, it's very important to have a list, and you can always go back to your list. That's even the more reason why you should write it down and put it somewhere, or write it in a journal, so that when you meet people, you can always go through that list. If they tick the boxes, everything I've mentioned now is not something out of the blues, or it's not something too hard to get. A faithful person is not too hard to get. Someone who has the right work ethics is not too hard to get. A matured person is not too hard to get. I'm not I don't think I've said anything like you must have a car, you must have a house. That might not be easy to get. But anything that you know would give you peace of mind, anything that you know that a good person should have, write it down, set standards. So you should also have what we call deal breakers. And what do we call deal breakers? Deal breakers are things you cannot deal with in a relationship. So you should also write that down. After writing your list of standards, you should also write your list of deal breakers. Just that your deal breakers might not be much. So for instance, things that you cannot deal with could be lying, could be cheating, could be disrespect. You can also call them turn offs. Write these things down. Just like you have written out the things you want, write down the things you don't want. So that when you notice these things in wherever you are dating, you can easily either you call them to order or you call it quits. It's very, very important to have these lists. So s- okay, there was this scenario. I want to make a scenario about setting standard. There's this scenario that Steve Harvey shared one time. He was talking about his wife when they were still dating before he married her. They said there was a day that she came to his house. She came to visit him. They were still dating, and then she was lying down. Probably he thought she was sleeping, and then he was receiving calls of maybe a lady or some ladies, and from the call you know that they have something together. So she Marjorie got angry, but she didn't fight, she didn't make create a scene. She just stood up and told him that when you are ready you come and get me. And then she packed her bags and she was leaving. And then Steve said at that point he had to break his phone that he was using a open and close phone. Is it flip phone now? So he broke it in front of her and he was sober and he told her he's sorry and he was not going to do that again. So she was not dramatic. Setting standard does not mean you be proud or you be dramatic. It's just saying, oh, I don't want this thing and I cannot deal with it. So when you are ready to have relationship with my own kind of person, you can come and get me. Or if you're not ready at all, then we are done. So that is what setting standard does. It saves you a whole lot of headache. You wouldn't have to remain in that relationship and you keep dealing with things you don't want. So it is very, if there's anybody that's told you that it's not good to set standard, please don't believe the person. Set standard. Just make sure that your standard is standard. Make sure that you are setting realistic standards. Make sure that your standard is not materialistic. Make sure that your standard is filled with values that a good person should have. And also very important, make sure that you are worth your standard. As you are setting standard, work on yourself to meet up with those standards. Very, very important. So setting standards saves you from heartbreaks and it saves you from wasting time. It saves you from time wasters. You're able to identify things that you don't want early and you're able to walk away from it early enough. So if you have any question about setting standards, maybe you don't know how to set standard, you can drop the question in the comment section or you can send the message to me inbox on my page. All right. So the third aspect of this topic is defining your relationship. Defining your relationship, very, very important. And defining your relationship is also synonymous to asking the right questions and knowing where you are both going, like knowing where you are going exactly. If someone should help me type it in the comment section. Define your relationship. I call it let us know what we are doing. A whole lot of people a are in relationships, but some of them do not know what they are doing. Only a few really know what they are doing. So thank you very much. So when I say define your relationship, I mean ask important questions, like ask personal questions. I don't think you can exhaust asking questions. When you meet somebody from the onset, ask, and ask. Keep asking. You you cannot go wrong asking questions. You can only go wrong not asking questions. So ask questions. Ask, don't some people feel like uh they don't want to ask too much so that they will not be like, I too know. This person wants to date you. This person wants to be a part of your life. This person wants your, it's more like when someone asks you to date them, it's like they're asking you for your life, because you have to give them your time and your resources. And what else is bigger than your time and your resources? Anyone you are giving your time and your resources is, you are giving the person your life. So why won't you ask the person important questions? Do all the background checks possible. Ask, if it's possible to for you to ask questions about their life from when they were a baby. Ask. Well, it does not mean that you have to ask all the questions in one day, but at every opportunity that you get, maybe you talk about things that are related to them, you can always chip in your questions. Ask relevant questions. Thank you. Very, very important. Ask relevant questions. Then ask about their beliefs. Also very important. I don't know how you be with somebody and you don't know what the person thinks about a certain religion or about a certain culture or about family values. Like you don't know what the person thinks about in-laws. These are questions that you should be conscious of to ask. Ask them how they see nuclear family, extended family. Ask them as many questions. Ask them about religion, ask them about doctrines, ask them, it will be, it's very sad when you see people say, oh, we dated for 5 years, but I can't marry her because she's a Christian, I can't marry her because she's a Muslim. Why would you be with somebody for that long and you both have not had the conversation that of the kind of religion they can marry or the kind of religion that their parents will accept? I mean, I find it very, very appalling to just, so what have you been doing in that relationship? So ask about their short term and long term goals. Know if you are even in the picture of their goals at all. Like at all, at all. There are people that are dating and the other party is not even in their both short and long term goals. So what are you dating for? For instance, I was dating somebody and about maybe 6 months into the relationship, like maybe 3 or 6 months into the relationship, and the person told me he will be traveling out. I'm like, okay, you'll be traveling out. Then I mean like then, and then it's like nothing. You will travel. I'm like, I did not even come into your picture at all. Nothing like, oh, you come and join me, or I'll come back and marry you. You're like, for now, he does not know. That's just his plan. I'm like, seriously, I'm not even in your short and your long term goal. Of course, the relationship was fun for me, but I'm like, what is fun without definition? What is fun without me being in your plans? So I I I don't know. You can't just ask questions enough. And another question you should ask them why they want to date you. This is very important. Like you can't meet someone and someone will just tell you, hey, I want us to date. And then maybe because you your the conversation flowed well, there, of course, there are times when you are conversing with somebody and the conversation flows very well and you feel like, oh yes, I feel his vibes, or I feel her vibes. Please don't date because of vibes. Don't even date because of chemistry. Chemistry and vibes to me does not mean anything if you both do not have common goals and values. So I can like you, oh, I can enjoy your company so very much, but if you do not tick the boxes of my standards, and if we are not able to define what we are doing, I'm sorry, even if I've started dating you, I will stop. At that juncture, I will stop. So it is very, very important. Then talk about your deal breakers. Oh, let them know I don't like cheating. I cannot deal with it. If you know you're a cheat, please let's not even start. Let's not start what you cannot finish. Talk about things that you don't like. Let the other person also tell you what they don't like, what they cannot deal with. Very, very important. ask, talk, talk, talk. You cannot exhaust talking. Yoruba will say "A kì í sọ̀rọ̀ tán, a máa sọ kù." Where you that is where you cannot exhaust talking. Where you stop talking today, you will continue talking from there tomorrow. So please talk and ask any other question about anything that you want in a partner. Just ask. You don't have to be too harsh about your questions. You can just ask stylish. There's some things you can just study the atmosphere. If it's a good time to ask. For instance, I was dating somebody and out of nowhere, I just asked. For me, it was more or less like a joke. I just asked, "Oh, do you have a baby mama?" And this person just went cold. Because I just met the person just about maybe a month or maybe some weeks into the relationship. And when I asked that question, the face just went dim, like, "Oh, you asked." I'm like, "What do you have?" Because I didn't expect him to have. And then he was like, well, because we just met, I was waiting for the right time to tell you and such like that. In fact, the answer even shocked me because I wasn't expecting it. But I asked. So I usually ask questions, random questions. I'll just pop it up at any time that you won't even be able to lie. Of course, people lie, but that is why having sense is important. And that is why I I I usually advise a certain age, but we have people that can be younger and still be more matured and be more sensible. So sense is very, very important. You need to be sensible. We have singles and we have singles with sense. That sense part is very, very that is one major part that will save you from a whole lot of heartbreaks. The earlier you ask these questions, the better for you to avoid adaino and to avoid stories that touch. And another misconception, some people feel like it is desperate people that ask a lot of questions. For me, there is nothing like desperate. There's nothing called desperate, except if you are dealing with a baby. That is when the person will feel like, oh, you are desperate. Because I don't know how two matured people would come together to say they want to be in a relationship, and you will not expect questions, you not expect specific questions. So anyone, if you have been called desperate, if you have been told that you're desperate, just know that that person is not for you and that person is not ready for you. That's the only thing that can make someone call you desperate. If the person does not share similar values with you, or the person just wants to while away time, that is what will make somebody call you desperate. Please ask questions. Ask, and ask. Also note, this is also very, very important. Note that the first few weeks of a relationship, like maybe you just met somebody and you're maybe from talking stage and you have started dating, the first few weeks should not be for it should not be for that alone. As you are whining and dining, make sure you're asking important questions, you are noting important things, you are studying the person, you are looking out for things that you can deal with and things that you cannot deal with. And if you are starting a new relationship, make sure that you are going in with your brain, more of brain than emotions. In fact, if you invest up to 10% of emotions into a relationship, you have invested more than enough. So you need more of brain. You need to be calculative. You need to be logical. You need to be assertive, not just seeing things on the surface. You need to really study the person, study their body language, study everything as much as you can study about them. First few weeks, first few months, you are studying to know the important things that you need to know. So the earlier you discover these things, the better for you. The earlier you discover these things, the better for you. So also do your background checks. There are a lot of people that are dating that they don't know where their partner is working, they don't know their partner's friend, they don't know their partner's family, they don't know anything about their partner. And you say you want to avoid heartbreak. I don't know how you want to do it. Because from your findings, you would discover at least one or two things if the person is not true with you. So always do your background check, always do your own findings. People can lie. Yes, you can ask questions and continue to ask questions, and they might be lying. So it is important that you do your background check. If you know maybe you can go to their neighborhood. If you know any friend, any family or stuff like that, you can always ask questions from them. Very, very important. So the bonus, those are the three major points that I have on how to date right and how to avoid heartbreak. The bonus aspect is getting out of a bad relationship and healing from heartbreak. So if you have any questions on defining your relationship, if you want to know how to define your relationship, if you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section or you can send it to me inbox on my page. Very um, important. So to the bonus aspect, how do you get out from a bad relationship? I usually ask people that if you have spent 5 years in a bad situation, be true to yourself. Would you want to spend another 5 years in that same situation? Because some people usually have that hold on time, like, oh, I have spent 5 years, I have spent 10 years, I don't want to go. For me, I feel you are the only one that can cut the cycle yourself. If you don't want to keep going through the same thing and the same thing over again, you can always cut or put an end to it yourself. So stop thinking of the time wasted. Think of all the things that you do not want to continue in. Think of the more time that you don't want to waste. Stop thinking of the time you have wasted. That has gone. There's nothing you can do about it. Think of the time that you do not want to waste. Think of not adding extra time to the ones that you have already wasted. Staying long, you also need to know that staying long is not going to change anything. If you have spent 5 years and the person has been bad, if you stay another 5 years, who does not want to change will not change. Anyone who wants to change would have changed within the time frame that you have already spent. So if someone has been bad, you have been talking to the person, you have been trying to change the person, and the person is not changing, there is no amount of extra time that you spend that will change the person. You would only be deceiving yourself. There is no amount of time that you spend that will change the person. You need to know this. Anyone who wants to have change should have probably changed before you met them, or within the time frame that you have spent, the person should have changed. So please don't feel like, oh, let me continue staying. If I stay the more, you will consider me and change, or she will consider me and change. Please, who does not want to change will not change. So know that spending extra years in a relationship, or maybe if someone does not want to marry you, even if you stay 10 more years, who will not marry you will not marry you. You need to know this. And then if probably you have already broken up and you are heartbroken, I need you to, look at it from the perspective that you don't know what God saved you from. Probably being married to the person would have been worse than what you experienced in the relationship. They usually say that a broken relationship is better than a broken marriage. If you could not work it out in a relationship, then I don't think you could have worked it out in marriage. So you should be grateful for a broken for the broken relationship, especially if you were experiencing things that you didn't like, that you were just managing. So heartbreak can be a blessing. Of course, I know it can be very painful, can be very painful. You can be suicidal. I've also been suicidal. I know how bad it feels, but you need to move on. You need to move ahead. And one coping mechanism that I would say I use personally is, well, I don't I don't know if you feel so comfortable with it, but I just as or I ask myself, okay, what if this person died? Won't I continue my life? So I just kind of assume that the person does not exist anymore. And then I try, and of course I mourn the relationship. Like when someone dies and you have to do maybe 30 days or 40 days mourning, I observe all that. I think of all the good days, and I just tell myself, well, this person is no more, and I just have to move on. So I think that is a coping mechanism for me, and I don't know if it will work for you, but just look on the brighter side, and that is why you need to have something that you are passionate about. There are days when I was experiencing heartbreak, and I was still coming online to write. So I found solace in my passion. I found solace in writing. So if you have a passion that you enjoy, when you break up, it would be easy for you to just keep on working on your passion. Aside healing, you'll be healing by a side, and then you'll still be working on your passion will give you strength. And then think of your family and friends. You didn't drop from the sky. If you're heartbroken, you shouldn't um end your life or destroy your career because of one person. Think of those that love you. Think of your parents, think of your siblings, think of your family, think of people that mean so much to you. It's not possible for only one person to mean so much to you. Think of the other people that mean so much to you, or that you mean so much to. Don't be selfish. Ending it all because of one person is very, very selfish. You have a whole lot of other people who care about you and who would not want anything to be wrong with you. So think of those people. And that's why it's also very important not to lose yourself at any point in a relationship. Don't get into a relationship and lose your passion. Don't get into a relationship and stop your business. Even married, don't get into marriage and say, oh, I discard all my friends or I discard all my family. You don't do that, because you need people that you can always fall back on when things like this happen. So be mindful of still keeping your passion, keep working on your passion, from self-discovery. You already know what you want to do, you know what you love doing. Keep doing it in or out of a relationship, and set standards also. Have things that you cannot compromise for, so that when heartbreak happens, you can say, oh well, I know it's painful, but I couldn't have done what he or she asked me to do. So I'm proud of myself, you know. So it's and if you have been following everything that we have said today, you would know that it is it's going to help you to play safe in relationship. Know what you want, set standards, list them out, follow them squarely. And when you meet somebody, ask important questions. Continue having important discussions. Even if you have spent 1 year, 2 years or more in a relationship, you can still come together and still discuss these questions. So um, I hope you have learned something from this topic. And if you have questions, please ask in the comment section or send to my page. If there's any question I would like to. Okay, so I'm seeing a question. How do you deal with a person who keeps trying to pull you down through text messages and statements geared towards you, even a heartbreak? Well, for me, I would block the person in all ways possible, because even without uh, you saying negative things to me, if I even if I loved you too much and I know seeing traces of you would keep hurting me, I'm going to delete every trace of you and block you everywhere possible. So how much more someone who is deliberately saying negative things to you? Please block the person in all possible ways. And then probably the person uses numbers that you don't have saved, so you might not be able to block it. Just you need to heal completely. There's a part of healing completely where even when you see the person face to face, you won't feel anything. You won't feel anything. And that is the last stage of healing. Even when you are confronted with your ex or your past life, you won't feel anything, you won't feel guilty. And how do you achieve this? Have a passion, have something that motivates you, have something that you are happy doing, and know that heartbreak or breakup sometimes can be a blessing. You don't know where God is taking you to. I it's sad when people just limit themselves. Like I've also had that feeling before where I didn't see myself being with someone else apart from the person I was with. So it is we human beings by ourselves that we place a limitation on ourselves. It's like you saying, oh, I cannot be a medical doctor, or I cannot be a billionaire. You yourself, you placed that limit on yourself. So you saying I cannot be happy without this person. It is you. Nobody placed that limitation on you. You placed it by yourself. And it's still going to be you that will remove that limitation. I I say something sometimes, especially when referring to maybe somebody who did something bad or to me, maybe as regards relationship. I say if this person is the last person on earth, like no other man, I'd rather remain single. I mean that's the height of you knowing yourself and setting standard. Like if this person is the last human being on like on earth, I'd rather remain single. And that point that you get to where you're 100% certain that this thing I won't do it. So please, um you might not be able to avoid coming in contact with someone totally, but get to that point, heal to that point where even if you see them, even if they walk into you, maybe in a room or something, you will just ignore, and you continue living your life. So healing is possible, just like attaining a level of maturity, discovering yourself, setting standard and all. It's possible. Build that courage, especially to ask questions when you're in a relationship. Ask questions. You cannot exhaust asking questions. Even if you need to Google what question should I ask somebody I'm in relationship with, Google. All right. Thank you very much. So,
Okay, there are no other questions that are coming. I want I felt that there could be other questions coming in, but there are no other questions coming in. So I will say thank you to you. We've been able to do 59 minutes. We've got
thank
just
you
1 minute
very
to
much.
go. Thank you so much, Oluwaseun, for all that you have shared. I'm grateful that you've shared this, and I do hope that people have listened and that they will take advantage and better their relationships and their value
Yeah.
systems in life. Even what you shared also is applicable in business. So if somebody comes to you and says he wants to do business, the question is, why do you want to do business with me?
Mm,
Let's define what this business relationship would be all about. What are your standards? Because there are some individuals you do business with, and it can mar you for life. It can mess you up because of their standards. All right. So what you have even shared are, I mean, the things you have shared are, I mean, have clarity of purpose. These are the things that are very applicable in business. I must tell you, for example, when I was the person that wrote that I want to date Dangote's daughter so that I can get more money to her, I was the one that wrote it. So I'm like, there are some individuals who come to me, oh, make no beats, you're good, you're that. All I'm knowing and seeing from their saying is that they want to ride on what they have gained or what I've built over the years to be able to make a lot of money for themselves. But it's not really about that. It's about the way that they approach it. They approach it from the point of view, let's just do this. Let's just and I look at their value system. I'm like, these guys just want money but they are not really interested in the value, how people are, are transformed by what the things that they are doing. So they're all very applicable. And thank you for sharing. God
Thank you
bless you.
very much.
That thank you to everybody who tuned in. I do hope that you can connect to Oluwaseun for more. Get into her inbox and connect with her if you really want to better your relationship. Thank you to you, to everyone who tuned in. God bless you, and see you some other time. Now,
Thank you.
okay, I think I have a question that just popped in. I think it's
Okay.
practically simple. How do I know I'm in a toxic relationship? Maybe you can answer that.
Okay. Though we you if you depending on your background and your level of self-esteem, some people do not know they're in a toxic relationship. Some people feel abuse is normal. Some people feel abuse is the right way to correct. So you might not actually know that you're in a toxic relationship. But if you have somebody, let me just use some real life scenario. If you have somebody screaming at you always, you have somebody eating you, you have somebody using negative words to correct you instead of being, pointing out the exact thing that you did, but going around corners to say, "Oh, I've always known you are dull, you are this." If you feel bad after your encounter with the person, then you are in a toxic relationship. Or if you are going to meet the person and you are scared, you're already palpitating that, oh, I don't know what I'll meet with this person when I get to his place or her place. Just know that you are in a toxic relationship. So anything that does not make you feel good about yourself is toxic. So that's my answer to the question. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Thank you
All
so,
right.
so much for that. I'm grateful. God bless you and see you some other time.
All right.